Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel SK Tech. Today we are going to discuss about the multi-dimensional array. That is nothing but the 2D array or 3D array. So multi-dimensional array represent 2D array or 3D array which are combination of several earlier types of array. For example, two-dimensional array is a combination of two or more one-dimensional array. Similarly, the three-dimensional array is a combination of two or more two-dimensional array. So let us understand two-dimensional array. So what is two-dimensional array? So two-dimensional array represents several rows and columns of data. For example, marks obtained by a group of students in 5 different subjects can be represented by a 2D array. So if we write the marks of 3 students, we will write something like this, right? So let's say the preceding marks represent a 2D array since it's got 3 rows, that is nothing but the number of the student, and in each row 5 columns, that is number of the subjects. So there are totally 3 multiplied by 5 equal to 15 elements. So we can take the first row itself as a 1D array, and similarly the second row is a 1D array and the third row is another 1D array. So the preceding 2D array contains the 3 1D array. So let us see how we can create the two-dimensional array. So there are some ways of creating two-dimensional array. First, we can declare the two-dimensional array and directly store the element at the time of its declaration, similarly to the 1D array, right? So here int represents integer type element stored into array and array names is marks. To represent a two-dimensional array, we should use two pairs of square braces. Here, two pairs of square bracket after the array name. So each of the elements should be written inside the curly braces, and the row and the element in each row should be separated by comma. So if you see, so this is like 1D array that we have written earlier, and then this is another 1D array, this is another 1D array. This is separated by the comma and inside the curly braces. This is how we represent the two-dimensional array. So there are 3 rows and 5 columns each row, right? So the JVM create 15 blocks of memory as there are 15 elements being stored into the array. So the blocks of the memory can be individually referred as something like this, right? So by observing the preceding element, we can understand that the row which are starting from 0 to 2 and the columns are starting from 0 to 4 element can be referred in journal as marks. For example, if the variable name is marks, then I of j, right? Where I represents row position and j represents column position. The two-dimensional array has two indexes, I and j. Similarly, we can expect three indexes in case of the three-dimensional array. That we will discuss later point of time. And then another way of creating the two-dimensional array is similar to the 1D array. Like we can declare it first and then we can allocate the memory, and then we will use some concept looping to store the element at later point of time, similar to the 1D array, right? And these two statement again we can be simulated to like this: int marks and then two square bracket, then new int, and then two square bracket. We will provide the row value and the column value, like how we have seen like rows and column in a matrix format, right? This is of type int. Similarly, we can create the other different data types of the 2D array like character, float, string, and so on. So let us go to the IntelliJ IDE and try to write some simple program to see if we have created the array and stored the element at the time of initializing itself, how can we get the element from that array. So here the important point that you have to note down is, like in 1D array we have to use one loop. If it is a 2D array, means if we want to store the group of the students record of different 5 subjects, we have to use the 2 for loop, that is loop inside loop. Similarly, in case of 3D array, we have to use loop inside loop inside loop, in the sense 3 level of the loops. That we will see in detail in later point of time. So let us go to the IntelliJ IDE and demonstrate it, how the 2D array is represented and how we can get that element from the array. Then we will see how to store the element if we have created the array in this way using the for loop at the runtime. So let's go to the IntelliJ IDE. Yeah, so let's create another class. Let's give name as matrix, because it will be something looks like matrix only, where we'll have n number of the rows and n number of the columns. Then main method. So how we can create the 2D array? So let's see first way of creating the 2D array. So let's type something like, let's say now we are going to create a float type so that it will be clear for you. Then variable name and 2 square bracket, then new float. And let's say if while creating itself, if we are providing the value, this way of creating the 2D array we'll see later point of time. So now let's see if we have provided the value itself here only. So in case of 1D array, we have provided one curly braces, and inside that we have provided the value. But in case of 2D array, inside the curly braces we will provide the 1D array, means n number of the 1D array. So how we can write that 1D array? That is nothing but again curly braces and then some value. So let's say 1.1f, 1.2f, 1.3f, and then separated by comma. Let's write it again, another 1D array, and let's say one more. Let's give the value as 2. This is just a demo value, so we can give any value. Yeah, so this is the way of creating the 2D array. At the time of creating the array, we are providing the value. So in case of 1D array, we have used one loop, right, to get the data. But here in case of 2D array, we have to use loop inside loop, because one row will contain another number of the columns, right? So let's write first one loop, that is the outer loop, that will denote as a row. So let's write like int I equal to 0, I less than, how many rows are there? 3. So let's give the value as 3, and then I plus plus. So basically if we repeat print this row, what we have to do, we have to give the one row, and inside the one row how many columns are there? 1, 2 and 3. So we'll write another for loop to represent the column value. So that let's say give the variable name as j equal to 0, again j is less than 3 because 3 columns are there for each row, and then j plus plus, and then we'll print the value. So let's say how we can print it. So if we want to print this first value, so this is on the which position? This is on the first row and the first column. So the first row we are denoting as I, and then first column is also denoting as j equal to 0, right? So here what we have to write? We have to write like array name, that is x, and then what is the position of the row? That is nothing but the I value, and what is the position of the column? That is nothing but the j value, right? So first time what it will come? First become I becomes 0, then it will come inside, then then j becomes 0, then it will come inside, and then here it will print I is 0. Basically here first time what will happen? I will become 0 and j will become 0, right? So 0 of 0 position, what is the value of that? 1.1. Then second time again it is going to run this for loop, right? Because this for loop condition is still satisfied, j is become 0. Now it will increment it. So how it will come? I is still 0 only, but j is now 1. So what is the position in this array basically? So that is nothing but the I is 0 in this row only, but j is 1. It means this 0 and 1 position is having 1.2. Similarly, when I is 0 and j is 2, then also this condition will satisfy because 2 is less than 3 is true. Then again it will come inside, then I is still 0th position only, and then this j value becomes 2. So this is the value. Now next time j will become 3, it will come here, it will see 3 less than 3, no it is not, so it will go to the outer loop. Then here it will increment the I value, then I value becomes 1, and similarly it will goes on for the second row and the third row. So let's run this program and see the output. So yeah, so if you can see it is printing like 1.1, 1.2, 1.3, that is first row, then 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, that is second row, and then 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, that is third row. So let's write some formatting concept here to format the output so that it will be more visible. So let's write some statement like read and display array elements. So basically this first loop it is denoting like rows, and second is denoting like column of each row. Okay, so after printing the each element, we want to print some space. Let's append it here like slash t, that denotes like it is going to print the tag space. And after printing each columns, we want to go to the next line so that it will be more visible. So let's write some statement like system.out.println, and this is going to print by default as a next line, right? That we have seen already. So let's run this program and see the output. Yeah, so you can see here the output is more readable, right? This is the rows and this is the columns basically. So this is how we can create the 2D array, and we can initialize the value at the time of creating the array, and then we can get the data from the array. Now let us see the another way of array, that we will create it and we will store the element at runtime. So let's create another class. Let's say the class name would be like transpons. That could be anything, just give the any name and give the main method here. So let's write some comments here that we are going to perform in this program. Yeah, so these are the tasks that we are going to perform here. So first task that we have already seen, like how to accept the data from the keyword using buffer reader and scanner class. In 1D array we have already see how we can get the data using the buffer reader basically here, right? Here and in this demo we are going to use the scanner class to accept the data. So what is the syntax for that? That is scanner, then object name, then new scanner, and then system dot in, and then let's write some statement like enter rows and columns, right? So basically from the user we are expecting two items, right? Rows and columns. So we need to create two separate variables. So let's write like something row, and how we can accept the data using the method sc dot next int, and then another one is column sc dot next int again. So let's move this statement here basically, that is the task basically. Then we are going to create the array. So how we can create the array? Int and then array name, let's say array, then two square bracket, then new, and then again int, and then here we need to provide the rows and columns that we have taken in this variable, right? Row and the column value as a c. So this is how we can create the array. Then we are going to accept the input from the keyboard and going to store in this array only. So how we can do it? So as we have already seen, we have to use the to for loop, right? So let's write some statement here again to make it more visible basically. Let's write like enter elements of matrix, right? Then we have to use two loops. First one is for the rows and second one is for the columns. So let's write like for I is less than, what is the number of record that we are going to restore in the row? That is nothing but the row itself that we are stored here, row, and then I plus plus, then it will come inside, again we'll write, then it will come inside, and then this is will be the another variable, let's say j, and j is less than to column j plus plus. So what is the variable name of the array? That is nothing but the array itself, and then I, and then here the position would be I and the j, right? And then what we need to do, we need to use the concept to read the data from the keyboard. So sc dot next int, because this is of type int. So what will happen here? First time I will become 0, right? And then it will come inside, then j is become 0 here, then it will come inside, then here array of 0 and 0, then what are the value that we are going to enter, it is going to insert it here. Then similarly it will go again inside this loop, then I is 0 and j becomes 1. So 0 of 1 position, what are the value that we are going to insert, and so on. It will go on, it goes on, and it will store all the value that we have provided from the keyboard in this array itself, right? So this is how we can store the element in the array. in the 2D array from the keyboard. Now let us see how we can display it. So we have already seen how to display the data from the 2D array. So again we have to write loop inside loop to get the data. Let's copy paste this same loop here and see how we can print it. So again, instead of this is the variable that is going to return the output, right? So let's write some statement here, and then let's append some tab space. So that is nothing but /t, and after printing each columns we want to print some next line. So that will be something this, that is going to print basically each row, I mean next line. So that's it. So here we are accepting the data from the keyboard rows and columns, and then each rows and columns we are storing the value in the array using this loop, and then whatever the value that we have received, that we are storing it and printing it using this for loop. So let's run this program and see the output. So yeah, so it is asking enter rows and columns. Let's write like something 2 rows and 3 column. Then it is asking enter element of each matrix. So let's write something, first row is like first row first column, let's say 1 2 3 4. So you can see here, this is like something we have inserted manually. So we have inserted 2 rows and 3 columns, right? And we have inserted 6 elements. So it has already inserted 2 rows and 3 columns like this, and it has printed also. So let's run this program and just change the row and column value again. So basically, since we are accepting the data from the keyboard, we can provide any number of rows and columns at the runtime. So let's say 3 rows and 4 columns, right? So how many value we need to insert? 3 multiplied by 4, that is 12. So let's write like 1 2 3 and 12. So if you can see, it has automatically inserted in the array, 2D array, and we have written the code like to print it in a proper format. So it's, you can see 3 row it has printed and 4 column, right? So this is how we can do that. We can create the array and provide the value at the time of initializing itself, or we can create the 2D array and insert the record at the runtime from the keyboard and print it. So that's all for today's video. In next upcoming video, we are going to discuss about the 3D array. So stay tuned. We'll meet you soon.